Oh, my name is Steve Perez. I've been born in Santa Barbara in 1963, St. Francis Hospital. Moved to Carpinteria when I was 4, 1963. Born in 59 in Santa Barbara. And my parents are Richard and Hortensia Perez. My mom came from Mexico. My dad was born here. My father, worked here many years. He worked at Point Mugu Navy Base in Oxnard. My brother's Richard Perez Jr. He graduated in 1973. Jim Perez graduated in 76, Carpinteria High School.
From Carp High, yeah.
Barbara Perez graduated in 1981 from Carpinteria High School. My brother graduated from UCSB in 84. I graduated from UC Santa Barbara in 87. My brother works at an auto parts store in Goleta, and my sister works at the Sheriff's Department in Santa Barbara. We're really nice people. Carpinterians have always, I was admired our Carpinterians. They're always the nicest people in the world. Best weather. Well, growing up, we had the world's safest beach. Never forget the world's safest. We had a sign out there by Linden Avenue. I'd like to mention also that my grandparents were Martha and John Perez, many years. They lived on 7th Street, and they were good people, my father and my grandmother. And one of the things that comes to my mind in Carpinteria's long history, city history, it's only 50 short years, is when I played football. I had some skills. I was pretty good at it, but I wasn't good at the beginning. I was the kind of person who made myself into a good player. I wasn't born a good player. But I first played ball, and I remember I was watching 72 team. I had a friend of mine named Doug Pauly. I met him at Catalina School. I went to Catalina School, elementary school. Nice guy. And I remember in the hallways, he asked, "Steve, do you want to play on our boys club team?" He got me involved in football. Doug Pauly, my receiver. I said, yeah. So I tried out. I noticed I can throw a ball. Had some skill, and I was pretty calm in there. And I felt, things kind of clicked. I played quarterback in Catalina School and throwing touchdown passes. And then in 72, I went to Carpinteria Boys Club. Played ball there. We were a successful team. We made the district title game, but we lost to Oxnard, a bigger school, bigger city, Oxnard. It was like 32-8. But what I remember about that game, when I played quarterback, Carpinteria quarterback, I set passing records, is still today, 16 touchdown passes. Henry Gonzalez tied it. Still have the record for most touchdown passes. I averaged 23 yards a pass. And Doug Pauly's my star receiver, childhood friend growing up. And but I remember 73, played boys club ball. I injured my knee. The memories, I had a dislocated kneecap and complicated surgery. I came back, 74. It's a big thing coming back. And we're league champions in JV ball in 1974, which I take pride. I played with my friend Doug and Tony Jimenez. But the big thing comes out, we won the CF state champions in football in 1975. We had a great community support back then. Great community support. Carpinteria back then was maybe 6,000 people, a little town. And we had a successful year. Keith Bell was a quarterback all year. Keith Bell, he was a league most valuable player. We were childhood friends growing up. Lou Panos was the coach. We had Jim Bashore. He was a receiver coach. And Greg Leaves in Los Angeles, St. Paul High School. He came here to coach linebackers. Really, team, we got along well as juniors and seniors. We had good chemistry in the team, and we were 11-1. And that game was our first CF title for Carpinteria's long history, since 1928. Long history. And we played, I remember the second round that comes to my mind, talking from the heart. My friend unfortunately injured his knee in the first quarter down in Los Angeles team. It was called Valley Christian. And I had to come in the first quarter as a backup quarterback, very nervous. I didn't play maybe a quarter all year. But I practiced all days, and I went through a camp, and so I was really always ready. And we had 3 exciting games. It was team wins. We beat Valley Christian 10-7 over there. A goal line stand, you wouldn't believe it, a goal line stand on the 6-inch yard line at the last play of the game, they would have won. Then we played the next game against Paso Robles, which is up in Northern California. They have a rich history, Paso Robles. They won 9 titles in their history. And we barely won 6-0. We had another goal line stand, you wouldn't believe it, the 1 yard line. They could have won. And we won 6-0. Then we played the title game here December 12th, 1975. I don't forget that in my mind. And a team, another Los Angeles team, Los Angeles Lutheran, they came down here. I think we were ranked number 1. They were number 2 in the CIF Southern Section. And very exciting game. The emotions went back and forth. About 5,000, half the town probably there. KTMS radio was broadcasting at 12:50 a.m. And we went ahead 3-0. Our field goal kicker is Walter Riquejo. He was our most valuable player. And he kicked a field goal to go ahead 43-yarder, 3-0. Very tight game, nervous. And they went ahead 6-3. On a long touchdown run, a 5-yard run by Mike Taylor. They had a talented option team, and so we were behind at halftime. I'll never forget at halftime, I was thinking, I don't want to blow this, I'm a junior. seniors be angry at me if I blow this game. I was thinking in my heart. And I remember I was sitting there at halftime at the Carpinteria, and then I was thinking to myself, and I'll never forget, just try your best. And I remember Coach Jim Bashor came out. Those famous words, "Are you guys ready?" And it kind of fired up the team. "Are you ready?" Just those words. Jim Bashor, a longtime coach at Carpinteria High School. I'll never forget that. And it seemed to inspire the team. "Are you ready?" So we went out there ready. I came out passing and did my best to my receiver, Doug Pauly. And we had 5 years experience playing before that, elementary school. And then we connected some passes. It was a tight defensive game. Then finally came the fourth quarter, and I wanted to do my best. It was coming to my heart. I had to go to my best player, Doug Pauly. Where your strength is, you got to go to your best player. Doug Pauly's number 8, and he was an All-CF receiver that year. And he was one of the nicest guys in the world. And I threw a touchdown pass, 8 minutes left. To Pauly, one pass is 75 yards. Over the middle is a pass. He ran all the way to the 20-yard line. The crowd was, you couldn't believe the crowd. And Carpinteria was trying to win the first CF football championship, And the next play, I threw a touchdown pass to my friend Pauly. He caught it. He made a great catch at the 4-yard line, and he dove in the end zone, put his head down, and knocked over the defensive back and got in the end zone. It was a great athletic play. He reached for it. That wasn't a great pass, but he reached, stretched every inch of his body to get in the end zone, and crowd erupted, and it was like mayhem, But we had six different CF players on the team. Like Jay Canton was our running back. I don't forget some of these friends. They live in different states. Ed Esquerdo was a big lineman. He dominated the game. And John Lawero was an excellent linebacker, a mobile linebacker. Riqueo was led the state in field goals, 11 that year. Ended up being second. The records came out. And we had some great players and good teamwork. I remember 75 team was special, and the crowd celebrated with the parade and everything, Saturday parade, And then my mom was, I'll never forget my mom, Hortensia. She gave me a big hug, Hortensia, my mom. They were proud of me of my performance. Because people didn't expect me to do well, but I always had confidence in myself. Training. And I came back my senior year in 1976. People were expecting a lot from me and my friend Doug Pauly, my receiver, All-CF receiver. Should have been All-CF. We were the best pass receiving combination in the county and one of the best in the state. But Carpinteria, we didn't have a lot of big publicity here. LA media kind of ignored us. But they played. Then I remember my second game. It came out. First game, I was a little nervous. This is 1976 team. We had a small team because we lost all my talent in the team. So it was me. We didn't have a lot of good players, compared to the 75 team, which is a very tight-knit team. And I remember, forget the third game, my receiver, second game, Santa Paula. We played at home at Carpinteria Memorial Field, and I completed 20 out of 30. I set new passing records, because I worked extremely hard for 6 months going into that game. Because I knew we didn't have a big line, so I had to be 100% in sync. I'll never forget that. And so my receiver caught 11 passes. Doug Pauly, still a record today with Mike Inlow. We had the third game coming in. San Inez Pirates supposed to come into Carpinteria Memorial Field, the third game, first week of October, 76. And I was told my coach Panazon, Lou Panazon's our coach, he's we're going to have a scout from Ohio State come in, named Jim Camp. He lived in Montecito. They're scouting a safety from San Inez, Bob Murphy, this and that. And I said, I'm going to put on a performance. Maybe they can look at me, just a little humor, you know what I mean? Because I was capable. But my receiver had extreme talent. I threw a touchdown pass to Doug Pauly, 23 yards. He scored 6-0. But it stood out. My receiver got injured the next series. Unfortunately, he got injured. His knee was out for the year, which crippled our offense. So I had to lead our team in 76, which I think was a special team. And we went on to be, 10-2. 10-2 for the year, which is too bad without he was a Player of the Year candidate, Doug Pauly, by far the best receiver. I was a good quarterback, a good leadership, the captain of our team. But those things stick up, guiding a little team. And the thing I was proud of is I handled the ball 700 times. I was a punter too. I was a four-dimensional player. I was an offensive player, set school records, passing yards, touchdowns, completions, most touchdowns in one game, most completions in one game.
How many touchdowns and completions?
Well, I threw 15 touchdowns. The old record is Bob Gonzalez, who's a good quarterback, All-CF, Bob Gonzalez, 72. There's been many All-CF passers. And the 76 team were very good. I played the county All-Star game. And participating, very few quarterbacks played in the county All-Star game, which is an honor to play representing your high school. I threw one touchdown pass to Sam Green. That stands out in my mind. He was from Santa Barbara High School. Bill Kelly was the other quarterback from San Marcos. We won 24-0. Doug McKenzie's my fullback. That stands out in my mind. He went on to USC, the block from Marcus Allen, the player, the Heisman Trophy winner, and he blocked for Charles White, Heisman Trophy winner. He was lucky to meet some great talent. Doug McKenzie from San Marcos. He was honorable mention All-American. Getting back to my father played in 1947. That stands out. He was playing on the first undefeated team, 7-0. My dad was all-league center. My brother Rick was all-league linebacker, 72. But the main thing is Carpinteria won the first CF championship team, and we won 6 titles in our history, and we've been to 11 finals. We're 6-5 altogether. But that stands out, meeting your friends and this thing's a Carpinteria celebration. And my brother Jim was also played backup guard on the championship team. Brother Jim. My sister Barbara was a big fan, and she was a cheerleader. You know, Barbara. And but I also remember Kevin Gann, other notable alumni. Kevin Gann was an All-American in '73. I used to watch him. He inspired me to play. All-American, Carpinteria's first All-American football player. He played at City College, Player of the Year. That's Kevin Gann. Coley Kendall, I don't forget Coley Kendall. Memories, he was the CF Player of the Year in '87, '89. He won 3 titles in a row, which is a unique quarterback. He's a veer option runner. A really nice gentleman. He's a successful coach in LA right now. But that stands out. Put Carpinteria on the map. Main thing is Carpinteria's always a sleepy town on the map. And he was also the lowest runner as far as I think he ran 4 minutes and 6 seconds for a mile. I think he was the best in California, one of the best in the country. He went to the University of Oregon. That stands out for me. He brought notoriety and fame to Carpinteria because we were always in the shadow of Santa Barbara, all the great athletes, Sam Cunningham, Randall Cunningham, and also another thing that stands in my mind when I played ball is that I was captain of the team, and we had a lot of great teams and great coaches and all that. Another thing that stands out is the Great Flood of '69. I'll never forget the flood of '69. That comes back to my mind. I live in Carpinteria Avenue by Catalino, by Franklin Creek. It was raining, and I remember one time I was looking in the backyard, and we had no housing sections back there, and it was like a big lake out there. It was like Lake Kachuma out there. Fortunately, we had a dike that would have flooded our house. You know, we had a dike, and then I remember looking at Carpinteria Avenue. Sterling Avenue, which goes down there, and you see a boat go by, like a river.
On Lynn? What was
Carpinteria Avenue. Sterling Avenue. Sterling Avenue.
Okay. So the boat went by on Sterling?
Yeah, like a river. I had some pictures in my photo album that stands out, and I remember it was raining. I remember KNBC Channel 4 came, the Los Angeles news media came in, and put us on the map, in a bad way, in a way. Ronald Reagan came in here, Governor Ronald Reagan came here. It was on TV. That stands in my mind. And I remember it was kind of nervous because the floods came in my Sterling Avenue, Sterling where I live, and got up to the driveway, was getting higher and higher. And those things, but the other thing about Carpinteria, when I remember 50 years, is how it's developed in a small town. It's now a nice city. It's developed a well-rounded city. It's not, and they put in a big thing when McDonald's came in '91, and they put in the Carpinteria pool. The people are always nice. I got most people. But we had the great Carpinteria Beach, world's safest beach, which is true, world's safest beach. It's not advertised, but it used to be advertised. I don't know why anymore. But Carpinteria, they put in a lot of good stores and everything. That stands out for me. And they have the Avocado Festival. That stands out. We never had a festival. We used to always go to Santa Barbara. Fiestas, Nicest people in the world. And I'm glad I participated in my sports. And my mom, Richard, our 10th, my mom was a hard worker at Carpinteria High School. 20 years cafeteria worker. Learned the hard way. Worked hard, learned English. My mom, and I love my mom, and she's 83. We're taking care of her at the house right now, But occasionally I do photo albums. I have photo albums, and I like to preserve our. We have a good family. I bought a tile with the Carpinteria pool, preserve a family, Perez family's name. That's one way to remember our family, our members. And I take pride in when I play football, I donated our tape to represent Carpinteria to the CF Southern Section office. They pay me money so they can remember Carpinteria, to have the record of the tape of the game. But Carpinteria is also always remembered as far as the people. When I played sports, it taught me character, development. I was the team's captain, the JV captain, varsity captain. I try to be a good citizen, and no thing. Carpinteria citizens are good citizens. Other things that come to remember Carpinteria, I remember the great mayors we had. Mayor Wilbrandt. I met him. I'm friends with Mayor Wilbrandt. I knew the other mayor, her name was Tom Raycraft. He was the mayor of Carpinteria. I knew their daughter, Lisa. She was a great cheerleader. She stood out in my life. She was homecoming queen in 1976, Elisa Raycraft.
How about Chris Gokon?
Well, Chris Gokong I met in, I used to read with him in interest in the paper, and I was proud of him. He made Carpinteria his first player to play the NFL full time. Full time. And he played like 6-7 years, and I used to watch him. I met him at the Carpinteria Hall of Fame in November of 2013 and shook his hand and took a picture. First time I talked to him, and he had Achilles tendon injury, he had to retire. And then, but he was a really nice guy, very quiet guy though. I met him at the Avocado Festival the year before, believe it or not. So he gave me his phone number, we talked briefly, and then he played, but unfortunately injured his Achilles tendon. Really nice guy. Other players who played in the proud history, my cousin Rudy Perez was a good player. He played at Long Beach State. He was an all-league player at Carpinteria. Tony Perez was my cousin. Perez go a lot back in Carpinteria, long history. I'm proud of Carpinteria's history when I played ball also, that Carpinteria is ranked in the top 10 most wins ever for high schools in Carpinteria's history, California's history. 600, closing 600 wins in history. People like, it's something that's be proud of there. That's one area of Carpinteria to be proud of. And I've met some great athletes all my life, and I've always been a fan, USC fan, but I'm most proud of Carpinteria's history. The school has been one of the great schools of all time, ethical schools. They've won awards, Carpinteria High School. And there's more in Carpinteria. It's more of a round-rounded city now compared to the beginning, 1965. And I don't forget the people.
Okay, and what? So good talking with you today. Any last thoughts or words about your career in football?
Well, when I played, I accomplished a few things that no one ever accomplished. And I like to be proud in 28. I nominated myself for the Carpinteria Hall of Fame. People never knew these things about me. And when I played in a 75 championship team, but the 76 team, I lost a lot of my talent. So it was all on my shoulders to carry the team. Honestly, people don't know my story. I'm going to write a memoirs on this, believe it or not. Little small memoirs. But I played in a team, I was all CF passer. Without my receiver, I still made all CIF. I was all CF. I should have been defensive player because I handled the ball 700 times. I didn't lose one fumble all year. That shows you're perfect. People don't realize when I played, I was trying to pursue perfection. 100 level. I was always reaching to reach perfection, on which I was, because as long as I played 8 years, I never threw a pass intercepted for a touchdown. My senior year, I threw 37 attempts against St. Bonaventure, no interceptions. When I was punting, I never had one punt blocked. So I did prove perfection. Offense, I threw like 12 interceptions, but some of those are overrated. But I just thought when I played, I should have had more recognition because we'd have big media in LA. I remember I went to Los Angeles to visit the CF Southern Section office, and I talked to John Dalem, who's a guy there, so I looked up the records, and he was saying the playoff teams. In 1976, they did cover our team against Boron, first round playoff game. They were rated #1 defense in the CF Southern Section. And I was facing them. I was really inspired to face his team. And I almost set national records. I threw 4 touchdown passes in the first quarter. Came off firing. And I don't forget that. And then I lost my center. And I kind of threw out the season. When you lose your center, it wasn't the same. The center, no one else played center. That team had no depth. So we lost one center, one lineman all year. It would have been our season. So we were kind of tightrope all year long. Walking a tightrope. People don't realize the extreme stress I went through. That taught me things in life. I've been stressed in real life too. But I think people should be recognized things that are factually and true. And I sent a copy of my tape to the Congress, believe it or not, because they were collecting tapes for sports for high schools. So I called up the Library of Congress, and talked to them and said, "Hey, you guys collecting photos? Teams?" And I was, "Yeah, we collect them." I told them, all I remember growing up, all these big high schools and high schools, and they get all the recognition. You should include small town Carpinteria. My high school teams, when I played, were successful. So they accepted my tape at Congress for sports, high school sports, as far as Americana, which is really super. And they accepted my tape. I have the letter that proves it. I'm proud of that. Give Carpinteria recognition in that way, Carpinteria.
And you brought with you today some photos of the flood. Yeah, let me stop the tape and we'll get some shots of that. Okay, and what do you have there?
Well, this brings back memories. Here's a picture of the Great Flood of Carpinteria of 1969, January 69. They made the news. This is in front of my house. As you can see, the flood waters came into Carpinteria Avenue. It was on.
Change the angle just a little bit. Okay, right there. Wow.
My neighbor there, Benji Soto, he's a good neighbor. He worked at Vaughn's, and they're trying to move the car up more because the flood's getting higher and higher up my driveway. Okay. It's kind of humorous.
So, Steve Perez, you have quite a history in football, and great talking with you today. And we'll have this for history.
Okay, thanks for talking. I enjoyed every moment.
Okay, and what is this photo of?
Well, this is 1976. I was the team's captain. We had a 10-2 record. I was a team captain. This is before the season. They took pictures in a preseason.
And this is you, right?
Yeah, number 12.
Okay. Nice.
And this one here, this picture, I want to share these great memories. This is our championship team of 1975 at the Carpinteria High School Gymnasium after we won December 12, 1975-96 against Los Angeles Lutheran. A great picture here of the team in the gymnasium.
Nice.
This is my good friend. His name is Doug Pauly. Well, I'm sorry. Doug Pauly's my friend. Is number 8 for Carpinteria High School, all-CF receiver. Great man. He got a great scholarship to Ohio State University, 1977, 1980. He was a backup receiver. He played in the Rose Bowl on January 1st, 1980. He was on the team when USC won 17-16
Nice.
in the Rose Bowl.
Okay.
And this is my receiver. He took a great photo. I got it 2 years ago at Ohio State, at the archives. They had a picture with him, just the quarterbacks and the receivers.
Hold it still. Okay.
1980 picture. Came on the Ohio State paper.
Nice.
And then this is my friend here. Did I show you this one before?
Yeah, you showed that.
Oh, well, this one here, I take pride in spending money. This is my friend. It officially shows him in a jersey, Ohio State, number 84. This is a 1978 picture at Ohio State. They had Woody Hayes, the coach. Woody Hayes, I remember he came to Carpinteria High School in February 1977 it made the paper in the Carpinteria Herald. Woody Hayes, the coach for many years, to recruit my receiver. And we were childhood friends. I was really proud of his scholarship. And my friend gave me these pictures in 1995.
Okay.
And
I think that's it for the photo.
yeah, but those are the pictures I wanted to share, memories that come to my heart. You know, they're the big pictures. They mean a lot to my heart and memories to share with people. And I've given a lot of these photos out to people too, let you people know. So Carpinteria is a special place, and I think we had special teams, athletics, but we also had a town that teaches you good values and things like that, friendships, values, and I love Carpinteria, and I'll never forget Carpinteria too.
Okay, well, once again, the one and only Steve Perez.
Oh,
Thanks a lot.
thanks for the interview.